The best product leaders aren't just product managers. They are part psychologists, part economists, part strategists. They see the world through a lens of first principles. But how do you move from theory to practice? How do you stop being a victim of chaos and start being the architect of your own outcomes? This is the Sovereign PM, the podcast that deconstructs the ideas of product strategist Schwarzkopf to give you a more powerful way to think and lead. It's time to own your outcomes. Let's begin.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting straight to something pretty foundational.
Yeah, not just another chat about features.
Exactly. We're not just discussing how companies are, bolting AI onto existing products. We're talking about AI as a fundamental re-architecture of how value gets created and delivered, period.
It's a big claim, but it feels right. The common idea is, let's integrate this new tech. But that misses the point, doesn't it?
Completely. It's really about a huge strategic paradigm shift. It demands frankly, a totally new CEO playbook.
And what's fascinating, really compelling, is when you look at CEOs like Luis von Ahn at Duolingo or Tobi Lütke at Shopify, their strategies seem really aligned.
Yeah. On the surface, maybe they look like just, specific tactics for their own companies.
But when you dig a bit deeper, you start to see they're actually showing us the two sort of primary universal pillars for this new playbook, for the whole AI era, really.
That brings us to our main idea today, this metaphor we're using. AI isn't just one thing. It's like two distinct, really powerful engines, and they have to work together.
Okay, I like that. Two engines.
Yeah. So imagine one engine is built purely to simplify the present. It takes stuff that's hard, complex, tedious right now, and just makes it effortless.
Taking friction out.
Exactly.
Right.
And the other engine, that one's engineered to accelerate, to really push into the future, enabling, scale, speed, entirely new capabilities we couldn't even think about before.
Got it. Simplification and acceleration, the twin engines.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So for product leaders listening, you're the seasoned PMs, heads of product, founders, our mission today is to really deconstruct this universal blueprint.
Yeah, we want to go beyond just the surface definitions. The goal is to give you deeper insights, maybe some new mental models, the strategic frameworks you actually need.
Right. Frameworks to build resilient, high-growth organizations in, this new landscape. This is an AI 101.
No, definitely not. It's about connecting that theoretical potential of AI to the messy day-to-day reality of product management.
Okay, so let's dig into that first engine, the engine of acceleration. And Duolingo is just such a perfect example here.
Right. Their mission is huge. Global education accessibility. But think about their biggest bottleneck, traditional.
Reading the content, right? It's slow, incredibly manual, super expensive to create really high-quality educational stuff.
Exactly. Imagine trying to scale from, say, 30 languages to, hundreds. Using old methods, it's almost impossible operationally. The burden is immense.
This is where AI comes in and doesn't just help a bit, it completely transforms things.
It really does. Historically, right, a new language course meant teams of linguists, designers working for months, crafting thousands of little exercises.
Painstaking work.
Totally. Now, Duolingo uses large language models, LLMs, to generate a huge initial batch of learning content. And what's really fundamental here is how the human role changes.
Okay. So humans aren't creating it all from scratch anymore.
No. They shift to becoming highly leveraged content curators and reviewers. It's not like a 10% efficiency boost. It's orders of magnitude more output.
Wow. Orders of magnitude.
And it's not just the learning content. Internally, these AI tools are speeding up their engineering cycles too, so they get faster feature development. It's really a masterclass in using AI to just massively increase the supply of value, the sheer volume of quality stuff a team can produce.
That shift from creation to curation is powerful. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? How do they maintain quality? How do they avoid AI, hallucinations or getting cultural nuances wrong when they're scaling that fast?
Yeah, that's the critical question. Is there a risk of losing that human touch that actually makes learning engaging?
Exactly.
And that's a key strategic challenge for any product leader using this acceleration engine. Duolingo's approach isn't just like fire and forget AI. Their acceleration depends heavily on a really robust human-in-the-loop system. The AI generates, sure, but then expert linguists, educators, they provide critical feedback. They act as the quality gate.
And that feedback probably helps train the models too, right?
Precisely. It's a continuous feedback loop. They've actually shifted their data strategy. It's not just about collecting user learning data anymore. It's also about collecting expert feedback on the AI-generated content.
Oh, that's smart.
This makes sure the acceleration is always tied to quality. And the cost structure changes too. You move from expensive human creation to much more efficient human validation. It lets them iterate fast and focus on those tricky edge cases AI might miss.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Quality control through expert feedback loops. Now, what about the second engine, the engine of simplification?
Yeah, and Shopify is the poster child for this one. Their mission, famously, is arm the rebels, right? Make entrepreneurship accessible to everyone.
Love that mission. But for so many people, the big hurdle isn't the dream. It's the sheer complexity of actually running a business.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. A modern entrepreneur, especially a small one, has to be an expert in marketing, logistics, finance, web design, customer service. I mean, the cognitive load is just crushing.
It's like trying to juggle 5 different high-skilled jobs at once.
Exactly right. And every hour that small business owner spends wrestling with inventory or carefully writing product descriptions or figuring out payment gateways
Is an hour they're not spending on their actual product, their craft, or talking to customers.
That's the core problem Shopify is tackling. Their AI tools, like the Sidekick assistant they've shown, aren't just giving advice. They're designed to actually do the work for the merchant.
Okay, so more than just a chatbot giving tips.
Much more. A merchant could ask Sidekick, hey, run a holiday sale. And the AI, acting like an agent, coordinates multiple actions. It might create discount codes, update the storefront banners, draft marketing emails, even schedule social media posts.
Wow, okay. That's orchestration.
It is. And Tobi Lütke's vision here is really profound. Use AI to abstract away all those tedious mechanics of commerce. Let the merchant focus on what they love building their business. This playbook is all about using AI to dramatically reduce the friction of value creation.
That idea of AI doing complex, multi-step tasks is really compelling. But again, the practical question comes up. How does Shopify make sure it's reliable, accurate, especially when Sidekick is doing things with real financial impact for merchants?
Yeah, you don't want the AI accidentally discounting everything by 90%.
Right. What happens if it, misunderstands a request?
That's where the architecture behind these AI agents is absolutely critical. It's not just one giant LLM doing everything blindly. Sidekick works more like an orchestrator.
Okay.
It breaks down a complex request, run a sale, into smaller, more manageable, actionable steps. And often, each step involves specific deterministic API calls to Shopify's core systems.
Ah, so it's leveraging the existing reliable infrastructure.
Exactly. The AI's main job is understanding the user's intent, figuring out the right sequence of actions, and translating natural language into those system commands. Reliability comes from those robust APIs it uses, plus continuous refinement of its prompting, its action sequencing models.
And probably some human oversight.
Often, yes. Especially for critical actions. There might be human-in-the-loop verification, or at least a clear user review step before final execution. It's about building a system of intelligent parts, not one giant, risky AI. The focus is on predictability, auditability, even if the interaction feels smooth and easy.
Okay, so we've seen these two engines in action with Duolingo and Shopify, acceleration and simplification. But, for the product managers, the heads of product, the founders listening, knowing this is one thing.
Actually making it happen in your team is the real challenge.
Right. Your role isn't just to say, let's use AI. It's more like you need to create an operating system for your team, an environment where they can effectively use both the simplification and the acceleration engines.
That feels like the crucial bridge, doesn't it? Between the big picture strategy and the daily grind of execution.
Yeah. So how do you translate these big strategic ideas into practical process changes for your actual team?
Well, I think the first step, and maybe the most important one, is you have to redefine the problem.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
The old way, often, was handing your engineers a really tightly scoped ticket, right? Like, build a button that exports a CSV file.
Sure, very specific.
Very precise, but it leaves almost zero room for the kind of emergent, creative, sometimes fuzzy solutions that AI is really good at. The new way, it demands that you define the user's outcome. What do they actually want to achieve? And then empower the team to explore the widest possible solution space using AI's unique strengths.
Ah, okay. So instead of saying, build a feature so users can manually categorize sport tickets, you'd frame it as,
Maybe something like, Our goal is to cut the time users spend managing tickets by 50%. How can we best use AI to get there?
And that just opens it up completely. Should we build auto-categorization, smart replies, sentiment analysis?
Exactly. You're focusing the team on the why, not prescribing the what. And that fundamentally changes how they work. It creates the space they need to propose and build AI solutions you might never have even thought of yourself.
It's moving from being prescriptive to being outcome-driven, which, okay, isn't a totally new idea in product.
No, but it takes on a whole new level of importance with AI because AI solutions often aren't rigidly designed up front. They kind of emerge.
Right. You need that flexibility.
You do. Focusing on the outcome allows for that iterative discovery process, which is essential given AI's probabilistic nature and how fast it's changing. You're basically turning your teams into applied researchers for your own product.
Okay, redefine the problem. Focus on outcomes. What's next?
The second step is to create an AI sandbox. And I mean a real sandbox, not just talking about it.
A safe space to play.
Exactly. Your most curious engineers, your designers, they're probably already messing around with new AI tools, maybe on their own time. You need to formalize that. Give them not just permission, but actual dedicated, protected space to experiment. And crucially, space to fail safely.
Okay, protected space. Let's unpack that a bit for a product leader, because this isn't just a weekend hackathon, right? You've got sensitive data, compute costs, security concerns.
You're absolutely right. It's way more than just casual playtime. A real AI sandbox needs a dedicated, isolated developer environment. It needs controlled access to internal data or maybe realistic synthetic data to protect privacy and security.
Right.
It means having some pre-allocated GPU resources, maybe a budget for API calls to external models, clear guidelines around model versioning, deployment paths, that kind of thing.
So structured experimentation.
Yes. Structured, safe experimentation without messing up production systems or running up huge, unexpected bills. Think like AI Fridays or dedicated sprints where people are explicitly told, go test new APIs, build small prototypes, break stuff, learn, without worrying about getting slapped down.
That encourages that bottom-up innovation.
For sure. And it acts like a continuous low-cost R&D engine. The goal isn't just to build shiny things, it's to learn super fast about what AI can actually do and what its limits are in your specific product context.
That makes the sandbox concept much more concrete and strategic. Okay, so we've redefined problems, created a sandbox. What's third?
Third, you need to redefine done to properly weave AI into your core workflows.
Changing the definition of done. Classic agile concept, but applied to AI.
Exactly. If you want AI to be a core competency, not just a novelty, it has to become part of the team's daily muscle memory. It has to be deeply embedded.
So how do you do that?
You explicitly include AI-assisted steps right into your definition of what done means for a task or a story.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. The old definition of done might be code complete, tests passed, deployed to production. Simple enough.
Yep.
The new definition could include things like code complete, assisted by GitHub Copilot and reviewed, or maybe user documentation drafted, initial draft AI generated from the ticket, then thoroughly reviewed and edited by a human.
I see. So you're making AI an explicit required part of the process.
You got it. When you do that, you don't just normalize using AI, you turn it from a cool extra into an essential tool. A fundamental part of how work actually gets done. It forces teams to think about AI as a core part of the toolkit, not some add-on you sprinkle on later. It drives a real systemic change in habits and, ultimately, output.
That's interesting. It's not just about making things faster then. It's about fundamentally changing the team's skills and their whole mindset. If done requires using AI, people have to engage with it differently.
Precisely, which leads nicely into the fourth point, appointing AI champions to spread the knowledge.
Decentralizing the expertise. Because just telling everyone from the top down, go use more AI,
Yeah.
that rarely works, does it?
Almost never. It feels forced, lacks organic buy-in. A much better approach is to find and empower the people on your team who are already naturally excited about this stuff.
The enthusiasts.
Yeah. An AI champion isn't necessarily a formal job title. It's more like a role you nurture and support. Maybe it's an engineer who's obsessed with prompt engineering, or a designer exploring generative AI for mockups, or a data analyst using AI for deeper insights.
So you identify them, and then what?
You give them the time, the resources, maybe some visibility to really dive deep into their area of interest. And then naturally, they become the go-to person for their colleagues. They start sharing cool new tools, best practices, what worked, what didn't.
So it creates this peer-to-peer learning network.
Exactly, which scales way more effectively and feels much more authentic than any mandatory training program ever could. These champions become sort of technical advisors and cultural evangelists for adopting an AI mindset within the organization.
Okay, those 4 points feel really practical. Redefine the problem around outcomes, create a real AI sandbox, redefine done to include AI, and empower AI champions. That gives product leaders concrete steps.
Yeah, it moves from just admiring the strategy to actually building the capability.
So let's kind of pull this all together. The strategies we're seeing from leaders at places like Duolingo and Shopify, they're not just random tactics.
No, they feel like early, strong signals of this universal, dual-pronged approach to leading with AI.
Right. The most effective leaders aren't just using AI haphazardly. They are harnessing it as these two distinct, powerful engines. One to radically simplify what's complex now.
And the other to accelerate into totally new territory, creating and scaling in ways we couldn't before.
And for you, the product leader listening, you're essentially the chief mechanic and the navigator for these engines inside your own company.
That's a good way to put it. And by intentionally redesigning how your team works, focusing on outcomes, fostering that structured experimentation in a sandbox, changing your definition of done, supporting those AI champions, you can build your own really powerful operating system.
An operating system designed to create unprecedented value in this AI era we're entering.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's maybe a provocative thought to leave you with, something to chew on after this deep dive.
Yeah.
If these twin engines, simplification and acceleration, really do represent the universal playbook for the AI era,
Yeah.
what does that imply for the competitive landscape? What happens to companies that fail to master both?
That's a big question. Because it's not just about adopting tech.
No, it's a fundamental shift. It requires rethinking product development, organizational design. How is that going to reshape what product leadership even means? What innovation looks like over the next, say, 10 years?
Yeah, definitely something to think about. And we really encourage you listening to engage with these ideas.
Please do. Share your own experiences. What challenges are you facing trying to implement AI strategies? What's working for you?
Let's keep this conversation going among tiers. Drop your thoughts in the comment section or wherever you discuss these things online. We'd genuinely love to hear your insights.
And that brings us to the end of this debrief. Our goal is to give you not just ideas, but a more powerful way to think. If you found value in this discussion, the best way to support this work is to give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future session. And if you know a fellow product leader who is wrestling with these same challenges, feel free to share this episode with them. As always, you can find the link to the original, in-depth article by Karsten Schwarzkopf directly in the description below. Thank you for your time and your attention. Stay sovereign.